Hello, hello, and welcome to our second session of the social media strategy for 2022 planning. I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick review from what we covered yesterday before we jump into the material for today. So 2 weeks ago, we covered some pre-game planning, and this is just meant to lay the foundation for you to have a better strategy for your social media going into 2022. So we answered some questions about why have a strategy in the first place, and this is an important thing to remind ourselves about, which one is like the idea of no more last minute promotions and not missing opportunities. You'll be able to create a more effective cash flow projection for the year. It was really interesting, just to a side note, as I was doing this for my own business, doing some planning and figuring out my social media strategy for 2022, I found some cool, I was able to do my cash flow projection for this following year, which allows me to make some better decisions about my business moving forward. Also helping with the marketing budget, knowing when I'm going to have bigger spends or smaller spends with spending on marketing. Also, identifying opportunities that you might not have been aware of. This is something also that, going through this process has solidified all of these reasons why having a social media strategy, also known as your marketing or promotional strategy, is so important when we are planning our next year of business. And what we're going to talk about today is number 7 and 6 is to be more realistic and intentional about how you're spending your time on social media, reverse engineering your promotion plan with real start dates. And we're not going to get so much into looking at the performance of your posts and return on investment today. So we're mostly focusing on 6 and 7. So the first thing that I had you do last week was identify what your products and services are. I wanted you to name each item or service that you offer and list 3 to 5 benefits to the customer. And then, then talk about, then list the features, and then identify your products and services, features, colors, how much it's going to cost. And then talk about capacity. How much can you really do? And we went into how many hours are available if you work a 52 weeks a year, 40 hours per week. And then taking into account holidays, just to give us a more realistic view of what our capacity is moving into this planning phase. Capacity from the sense of product creation, how much we can sell and how much time we can spend, doing promotions, or posting to social media, creating content for our social media. And then I asked you to come up with some category ideas for your posts. And these would be relative to your business or your organization's brand. And, these are just some examples. There's a ton of different options, but inspire, educate, entertain, inform, spread positivity, endorse, solve a problem, provide a solution. And then we talked about recognizing the ups and downs in our sales throughout the year. So recognizing that every business, except maybe McDonald's or fast food places, or almost every business has a peak season and a low season. And just being able to identify those for your business specifically is really powerful in this planning process, because it helps you to identify areas where your cash flow might be a little low, and also identify opportunities where, because cash flow is low, maybe this is when you're doing more production, or you are having a special promotion to maybe clear product off your shelves and also boost your cash flow in the business during slow seasons. Shared an example of what my calendar looks like. After 2 weeks, my calendar does not look like this anymore. It is much fuller. And I should have done an updated picture, but as things are getting booked, I'm filling up the dates and the days with those events. So, I recommend getting yourself a nice calendar to keep track of these holidays, these special events that for local events, and also events that you're going to be traveling to, any time off that you intend to take for self-care, vacations, holidays, any commitments that you've already committed to, conferences, weddings, and other key dates that you might have to recognize in 2022. Like, for example, in my calendar during the summer months, I teach stand-up paddleboard yoga. So I block off almost all the time in summer to specifically do that part of my business. So, and so what this does is it helps me to also build out my promotional strategy for stand-up paddleboard yoga on social media. That's just one example. And then I sent you guys, or Lynn, actually, thank you so much for sending the printouts to everybody, which these are examples of what they look like. Hopefully you were able to, oops, I didn't mean to go all the way back there. So this is just a blank calendar. This is a format that I've used in the past. And it's really nice to have a separate calendar from your business activities calendar, specifically for your social media, and combine them after you've planned out your whole year. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we start getting into the new content. So hopefully you all were able to identify some important dates, holidays, and events for your business, and things that you might want to be aware of. And then setting monthly goals for your business. What do we want to accomplish in each of those months? And what this does is it helps us to also identify how to reverse engineer our calendar for promotion, which is what this next slide is all about. And then I also ask that you identify your purpose for having social media presence. Are you looking to gain followers? And if you're looking to gain followers, why? Educate, inform your audience, the people that are following you are engaging with your content. Are they getting education or information? Are you inspiring people? Are you there just to make sales? And are you there to get people to go to your website? And on your website, then you have your lead funnel that you're going to, start putting them through. So don't forget one thing about social media, which we often forget when we're in business. It's really, social media is called social media because it's meant to be social. So you want to create a space where your customers and potential customers begin to know who you are, like you, and trust you. Know, like, and trust factor. And then I gave the homework of brainstorming all your ideas. And then post idea brainstorm so I used couples yoga, and Valentine's Day is the specific date, which is in February. And I'm going to use this as the example going into the next section. So some ideas for Valentine's Day, which is, I don't have my calendar open right now. Otherwise I could tell you if it's on a Saturday this year. I don't think it is. But so why is that important to know what dates the holidays will land on? One of the main reasons it's important to know that is because this will help you structure and decide what events you're actually going to have. For example, if I was planning something on Valentine's Day and, oh bugger, where is my yearly view? So I'm going to find it. Hold on, because I want to know this before we start going too far. Anyway, I'll find it. So why would we want to know what day Valentine's Day or each specific event happens on? If it's during the work week, that is going to adjust the time of day. If it's during the work week, probably wouldn't have couples yoga at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. But if it's on a Saturday or Sunday, that might be an ideal time. So knowing the day of the week that it falls on, that's why that's really, really valuable information. So this brainstorm page is specifically intended for you just to be like, okay, what could I do with my business, what I have products and services for this specific date during February. And, I came up with this couples yoga, private yoga session packages, or sip in yoga, book a private group class with your partner's favorite beverage and his or her friends. So again, brainstorms. After the brainstorm, I'd probably fine tune the ideas and, decide how much you would charge and how long, and start to get in on all the details. So how are you going to track? I'm a bad example right now because my calendar, I'm not able to, I was so happy about this calendar because I'm like, oh, look, I'm going to be able to, oh, there it is. Okay. So here, I'm going to stop my screen share so I can, oh wait, maybe I can, no, I can't. Because I want to show you what, and I don't know if you'll even be able to see, but I'm using a digital planner right now. And so it's kind of like the form that I gave you where, my ring light's doing its job, where each of the months, you have some lines where you could put important dates in. So I've started putting the dates in. And then what I realized is when I was putting the dates in, I wasn't knowing what day of the week it was falling on. So I started adding the day of the week in the calendar. So February, Valentine's Day is on a Monday. So I might have my event on a weekend, the weekend before Valentine's Day, because oftentimes people will celebrate Valentine's Day before the weekend, especially, or before, if it's on a weekday, they usually can oftentimes celebrate it the weekend before. So, these are the kinds of things that we're taking into account when we're planning and doing this reverse engineering. And that's why I'm sharing this story about why it's important to know the date that a holiday or event falls on. So keeping track, I have a digital calendar. I use Google Calendar, and I use this new, it's one that I can write into. It's new to me. I just started using it this last week because if you were to come into my workspace, you would see a stack of different planners and a stack of different journals. And what I've discovered is I will take notes and they get lost. And so with this, you don't need to buy a specific planner, but it's an app called GoodNotes, and I'm finding it to be really, really powerful. There's other apps like it, like Evernote. That's one that I used to use as well. But this one is like $7.99 for the year. And I believe it's like forever. You don't have to buy every year. Like some apps you have to buy every year. But this one, it didn't say annually. So I bought it, and now I have the app forever. And you can create notebooks. It's pretty amazing way to keep track of your planning and your notes. And it is an investment, but it's definitely worth it if you can do that. And I can use it on my phone and also on my laptop. So if I need to access it on my phone, I have the app on my phone. So I just click the app on my phone and then it'll open up. Or on my desktop, I can access it there. So I'm not ever without it, which is really important as well. You want to make sure whatever you're choosing, that you always have access to the information. Okay, so these are just some different ways, examples of things that I've seen in the past, how people use calendars to plan their social media posts. All right, so now what? So I changed the image up a little bit. So one of the things about your content planning or your content strategy is experimenting with different types of posts. And, up in the upper right-hand corner or left-hand corner on this image is an ad that I created for a print magazine, but I also have reformatted it to use it as a Instagram post, a Facebook post, and I've also used it as a paid ad. So, creating it one time and just reformatting it slightly, it has gotten a lot of use. And with just about all the content that you create, you want to try to create in a way that you can multi-purpose. And, the one in the upper right hand corner is I have this picture of me. There's not very many pictures of me where I'm not holding the camera. So I use this image a lot to create, curiosity posts or to get people interested in some things that I might have going on online. And this one in particular, I think it was about Instagram. I can't see it because my picture is covering it right now. Then the other, you want to, if you're looking to get more engagement, getting engagement posts, asking questions like, do you kayak or paddleboard? Comment below, let me know. And then using visuals so that people can easily relate to what it is that you're posting. Quotes are another really valuable resource when you're thinking about your content strategy. You can put a quote up. Quotes are one of the most shared assets on social media. People will share a quote before they would share an image of you, unless you're like a famous person. But most of the time, an obscure image with the quote is pretty shareable. So I created these templates for it was an evolution process, the templates for IDRS Acorn project. And ultimately I found this cool acorn and created this post template for IDRS Acorn project's Instagram feed. And so it, every Monday, or I can't remember what day it was, there was a quote going out on the Instagram, and then it would have some business tips in the comments below. And what I tried to do was create the quotes and the content that would be relatable to some webinars or things coming up in the week. And so that's another way that you can utilize your strategy and multi-purpose images or content that you're creating. So let's all take a big breath and relax, because that was the review. So welcome to our day 2. That was in case you missed the first day, that was like a really abbreviated version of what we did last week. And there was a little bit more bonus content in there. But one thing to make sure before you start even thinking about this next step, because you may not need a content scheduler, you may not need to invest in Canva, depending on what your business is and what your strategy is, you might be able to utilize things that you have on your phone already or on your computer. So do you have your content calendar and plan for social media marketing, but you're still forgetting to post? This is where those schedulers are amazing. Facebook has a built-in scheduler if you have a business page, which is one of the advantages to having a business page versus a personal page. And Instagram, I don't ever schedule on Instagram. It's usually pretty like immediate. When I'm about to post on Instagram, it goes through, but I'll have to look. That's very curious that I don't know that right off the top of my head. But being able to schedule your posts so that you don't forget. For example, if you're going to do, let's say I'm going to create a campaign to get people to come to my couples yoga class that I'm hosting on Sunday afternoon to celebrate Valentine's Day. So probably a week in advance, I'm going to start really putting a lot of content out there that's talking about this couples yoga class. And it isn't going to be content like book the couples yoga class. It's going to be things like having trouble figuring out what to get for Valentine's Day, or just something to spark curiosity. And then if people are interested, they're going to take that deeper dive. But they're going to be seeing this throughout the whole week, or even 2 weeks, when February 1st, when it's usually January is when they start promoting Valentine's Day in the grocery stores. But pick your time, pick your strategy, know your community, know your market. Like I know locally, my market, people don't pre-book things, they show up. So if I'm looking to get a bunch of pre-bookings, I'm going to have to have a pretty compelling call to action to make sure that people are clicking that book now button and booking their session and not thinking that they can just show up. So part of that campaign might be an education as well. Like if you are interested in this, it's important that you book now because there'll be special gifts and things. And I want to make sure I have enough for everybody. So, these are the things that we want to start thinking about in our posting strategy. But if I were to have to do that every single day for 2 weeks, posting 2 or 3 times a day just for the Valentine's Day promotion, that would take a lot of time. So using a scheduler, I can schedule those posts out to go out when my audience is most likely to be online. And then it's like a set it and forget it kind of a thing. However, you want to make sure that you have an alert on your calendar letting you know that a post just went out so that you can make sure and go in and engage in the content or the comments, excuse me. So when somebody posts, "Ooh, this is really cool, I'm interested," they're not waiting 24 hours for you to respond. You want to make sure that 30 minutes, 10 minutes after you post, you're able to go back and answer questions because, social media is fast acting. If you miss, you'll miss opportunities if you're not engaging at least 30 minutes after you post. So these are all things that if you're struggling with this is why having a content scheduler is really valuable. But I'm getting ahead of myself because I want to go over, hold on, we're not going to go over these yet. So I'm going to go back here to our yoga for Valentine's Day. So I've kind of already shared with you how one might reverse engineer this post idea brainstorm. So we already know that Valentine's Day 2022 lands on a Monday. Thinking about that, if you're not a service-based business and you're a product-based business and you have to ship things out, you have to take into consideration shipping. So if it takes 3 to 5 business days for your items to be delivered, you have to be making those sales in January and early February in order for those items to arrive on time. So your campaign is going to look a little bit different than what my in-person service-based Valentine's Day offering would look like. So it's important that one thing about social media is that everybody's business, everyone's services are different. And we have to make sure that we're not looking for that cookie cutter approach because there isn't one. What works for my business might not work for your business. And what works for the pros out there might not be the best strategy. If you have something in place that's working for you and you're making amazing sales right now, then that's a great approach. Maybe you can build onto that and start to streamline by getting a scheduler or figuring out and doing a content calendar and planning. And so you have a stronger approach to your social media. But don't feel like just because I'm telling you this is what you should do, it's not what you have to do. This is an approach to creating your content calendar. And there's a lot of different approaches out there, but this is the one that I found to be the most effective for me this year as I'm planning my social media. And I've bought programs, I've bought trainings, and I've purchased a lot of things to help me with my social media strategy. And so far, this is the thing that works the best for getting things to happen when I'm planning my calendar, which I'm doing it this year. And so anyway, back to the topic at hand. I'm going on a soapbox. Stepping down, back to Valentine's Day. So keeping all these, there's a lot to think about, but that's why we do these brainstorms. If let's say you make beaded earrings and you're going to do a series for Valentine's Day, and that it's going to take a while to that people might not order except a week in advance. And so you make a whole bunch of sales. And if you know that you can incorporate into the price expedited shipping, like, so that you make sure that it gets there in time. Or just make sure that your customers are aware that if they order the day before Valentine's Day, it's probably not going to get there till after Valentine's Day. But then you could also offer cool images of that piece so that they can present it to their Valentine on Valentine's Day, with some note saying that it is on its way. I don't know. But so for my example here, the Valentine's Day couples yoga, we're going to use that one. Let's say we're going to do it actually on a Monday evening, and we're going to do it, and we're going to partner with a local restaurant that is just across the street from the yoga studio. So what people are going to do is they're going to come to a couples yoga class, and it's going to be a gentle class that you're not going to get all sweaty, so that you can easily go over to the casual restaurant next door and have your Valentine's Day dinner. And once you get over there, there's going to be flowers and chocolates and all the things, because I wouldn't want people to eat dinner before they came to yoga, because that's just not very fun for anyone doing yoga. So, you know, you have to think about all these different things. So then I'm going to start planning my campaign. And like I said, I know my local market, they don't tend to pre-book things. So if I were to start, you know, trying to get people to book February 1st, most likely people are not going to do that. But I would start like hinting at the idea that this is going to be an option for people to purchase, and start, you know, putting hints out there about couples yoga, the benefits of couples yoga. And, you know, I would list and create posts. Like if I had 5 or 6 benefits about couples yoga, that's 5 or 6 different social media posts. And I could take a deeper dive into each one of those benefits. And, you know, people are going to be reading that. Oh, and then they're going to start to get curious about couples yoga. And then as the week of Valentine's Day starts to roll around, then you can start to, because most likely the people that are buying this are not the guys. The men probably aren't going to buy this for them to go to couples yoga with their spouse or their partner. It's most likely going to be the wife or the girlfriend. So my marketing campaign would target towards women. And these are all things that we have to have in place in order to have a strong content strategy. If you don't know who your target market is, and you don't know who your primary customers are for your specific products and services, this is, you know, you can definitely go for it and just see what happens. But by being more intentional about the strategy, you can get better results. So let's say I was actually deciding I'm going to market this towards the husbands and the boyfriends, and, you know, the campaign would look much different if I was marketing to the men as opposed to the women in the relationships. And also maybe it's friends that are coming, or, you know, it depends on how you want to structure your offering would determine the campaign that you're putting together. So first week would be just getting some attention and creating awareness around couples yoga, creating curiosity, creating engagement, no sales. And then the week of starting to say, hey, by the way, if you think couples yoga is cool, there's a Valentine's Day couples yoga class, and I'm partnering with the local restaurant to coordinate the yoga and the dinner. So it's kind of a ready-made Valentine's Day evening. And so then I would start posting, you know, still education, still curiosity, still creating awareness posts, and then, you know, but sprinkling in, and if you want it, you can buy it here kind of posts. So that's how that's one example of how you're building out your strategy. And so once you build it out, that's when your digital calendar comes into play. And this is not, I wish I had another adapter so I could share this. Actually, maybe, let me see. I'm just going to show you this template that, let me see if I can make it work first. Okay. Oh, well, it's going to be a while. I'm going to stop screen share. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to the presentation. We'll just skip that for now. Where did it go? Sure. Oh, here we go. Now it's there. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so I'll talk about something for 50 seconds. So once you have identified the key dates for your business. Now, if you were to go in and try to do this for every single date on the calendar that you like, every single special event, every single holiday, every single, all the things, you're going to get overwhelmed. So it's important to make sure that you're picking and choosing stuff that is really impactful for your business. And, your promotional strategy doesn't necessarily have to revolve around holidays and special events. It could just be that you have a new product launch, or you have a new service that you're going to start providing. Whatever it is, you want to make sure that you just have a plan and you have a strategy for not missing, not skipping the opportunity, and not being able to optimize the engagement and optimize on the ability to get people booked into your session, or to buy your product, or sign up for your training, or whatever it is. So if you're not building that excitement, and you're just like, a week before you put one post out, people are going to see that and they're going to keep scrolling. Maybe they're interested, but in that moment they're like, oh, it's not for another week or two, so I have time. And then unless you get their attention and get them to commit to something, to like the post, or save this so you don't forget it, or put it in your calendar right now so you don't miss the launch date. A potter that I follow, she just had a launch. She's in England. She does these amazing mugs. And I was like, I want one so bad. And she's been posting them for like 3 months. And she's like, my release is coming out at the end of November. And, she was like putting it in her Instagram story. She was putting it all over her Instagram feed. She was doing Instagram reels of her really cute mugs that she makes, and people using them. And just like everybody wants one of these mugs. So we were intently following her launch. Within a minute, all of her mugs, as soon as she launched, within, I think it was a minute or 5 minutes, everything sold. Because everyone was chomping at the bit, just waiting, because everybody wanted one. You couldn't get one until the launch date. So these are different, and just giving some more examples of how you can, create excitement about your products. And, not that she was necessary. It is a strategy. It's a strategy that crafters and artists and makers use to build excitement, and they create a group of items and then they sell it all at once by doing these curiosity posts, progress posts, people using the items that they've made in the past, and testimonials, creating this excitement around their product launch. And then when they release, it's like everybody's just waiting for that release button to say these are available so that they can buy it. It's kind of like Black Friday at, I don't know, Walmart. Like people are lined up waiting for, when they used to do the wait for the store to open kind of thing. Now they don't do that anymore, but if you know what I'm talking about, if you've ever been one of those people that would wait for Black Friday so you could go get the awesome electronics deals, and you waited outside the store in that long line, then you know what I'm talking about. iPhones, they do that a lot. When the iPhone first came out, there was such a massive demand for the iPhone, and it wasn't for, nobody knew what it really had ever used it. They just had this amazing buildup campaign that everyone had to have one. And so that's another way that you can create that curiosity, create engagement, and, you know, create a body of work, and then just sell it all at once. All right, so let me just take a moment to collect my thoughts and see if this is going to work this time. Okay. This happened last time. Darn it. Okay, well, that's not going to work. So we're going to go ahead and stop that. And I'm just going to show you on my iPad. So actually, I'm just going to talk about it. So when I told you also last week to set some social media goals for your business. And, you know, those goals can look like things like increase following, create a Facebook group, and get a certain number of members, make sure that you have a monthly content creation day, increase lead generation. These are goals that I've set for my social media for 2022. I've got specific numbers that I'm trying to hit with each of those goals. And then you come up with your action steps. What are your next steps? What are you going to do to increase following on Instagram or Facebook? Are you going to post 3 times a day, 7 days a week? Are you going to, you know, do live videos? Are you going to start to use reels on Instagram? You know, what is your approach going to be? And then you just write out those action steps. Like, if I know that I'm going to increase following on Instagram, I'm going to have to, you know, post more frequently. And in order to post more frequently, you know, then break it down even more so that everything that you have set for your social media content calendar goals is a small digestible piece. If I were to say, you know, because I've done this in the past, I want to increase my Instagram following to 1,500 followers. And this is back, like I say years ago, but it was a while ago when I only had like 200 followers. And I said that, and I didn't have a strategy. I didn't have any action steps, and I just kind of willy-nilly did. And then all of a sudden, I think I'm at 1,200 now. And so I didn't have action steps. And I didn't have anything measurable to say, okay, today I need to do a post. I need to post a quote. I need to post about the couples yoga class coming up. I need to, you know, when you have a strategy, then you have that target that you can start aiming for so that you're more effective. If you just have these big goals like that and don't chunk them down, then it's harder to work towards getting to that goal. And, you know, to go into detail about how to increase following, that's a whole other training, or how to get members in a Facebook group. Again, that's a whole other training. Having a monthly content creation day, this is a great strategy. And this is something that I try to do now. And I was trying to do it monthly, but I'm going to start doing it bi-monthly. So every 2 weeks, I will be sitting down and picking a day of the week that I'm going to sit down and create content for 2 weeks. And what this is going to do is it's going to force me, and it will force you, to have a more strategic approach to your business and your social media strategy. And that brings us back to one of the other topics for today, which is being intentional on your social media and using social media as a tool, and not using sorry, I got distracted by the chat. And not letting social media use you. So using social media as a tool and not letting social media use you. I know we all are guilty of it. getting on social media and we're going to do it for business. And we say, oh, because this is something I've said, well, I have a business and so I have to be on social media. And it's true. If you're a business, you probably need to be on social media. But does it mean that you need to be on social media in the middle of a lunch meeting or in the middle of hanging out with your kids? Probably not. So have a designated time that you're working on social media. Now, if you're being on social media just to check out the local gossip, that's different. That's like your recreational time. But when you're there for business, set business intentions and business hours. I'm gonna comment meaningful comments on 20 different posts today. I'm gonna answer 5 questions on someone else's post for people asking in the comments. I'm going to follow 50 people that are in my niche. I'm going to, setting those intentional action steps, those intentional goals for your social media strategy. Then you're going on social media with a purpose, on a mission. And then the whole going down the rabbit hole of, oh, look, this person just released this. Oh, and then pretty soon it's 2 hours later and you've wasted all that time and didn't get anything accomplished. So have a strategy, have an approach, have some goals. I keep saying strategy, and really what I mean are some tasks. What are the actions that you're taking when you're going to go on your social media platforms? We're not talking about analytics. The other thing, and this is something that is, again, another training, but it's really good to just touch on it, is what is your mission statement? If you've written a business plan or you've started your business already, you probably have a pretty good idea of what your mission is. And this is going to help to create your content and the story that you tell in social media. So if you're on a mission to spread positivity throughout the world by, quoting inspirational women, if that's your mission, and everything on your Instagram or Facebook feed is like negative, political, pandemic-y, all the negative stuff, you're not on mission. So when we have a mission, it also helps direct what we're putting out there content-wise. And then what is your vision? What do you want to create with your business? You want to create a community of inspired women, or who are starting their own businesses, or who are buying my earrings, or attending my yoga classes, or hiring me as a photographer, whatever it is that you are selling or promoting. That's a great way to direct your social media strategy. So what is your vision? And what do I want people to feel when they see my page? Colors are really powerful. Images are powerful. The copy that you use, the font styles that you use, all of that is going to tell a story about your brand. And so you want to make sure that you're putting together an Instagram feed or Facebook feed that is appealing to your ideal customers. If you're appealing to men and everything on your Instagram is pink, there's a handful that are going to be attracted to that, but mostly that is associated with femininity and women. So, be on brand, make sure that you're choosing, the right kind of emotions that you want people to feel when they get to your page. When do you want to inspire people or get people to say, wow, I want to be able to do that? Or, man, I wonder how I work with this person. I wonder where they're located. I wonder if I could book one of their classes, or I wonder if I could hire them. I wonder if they ship to out of country. All these kinds of things are trying to get people to be curious and want to get to know more about you. And then, taking some time to describe your business. That's your marketing story. And again, this is all stuff that if you've written your business plan or taken any of the business trainings, you've probably written your marketing story, your mission statement, your marketing story already, your elevator pitch. And then we've already talked about post ideas and then posting schedule. And that's all I have for today. That was not necessarily in the order that I wanted to. Oh, sorry. The last thing, a monthly or weekly or bi-monthly or whatever, how often, or quarterly social media review. I recommend at least monthly, going back and checking, like, what was the goal that you set for that month? What was your top performing post for that month? And, identifying what was so good about it. What kind of comments were you getting? What were people most engaged with about it? And then what did you learn about your social media channels, your schedule, your audience? Like, did you do post in the morning all the time, early in the morning, and it increased your engagement? Or did you start posting in the evening and then all of a sudden you got like a whole bunch more followers? So understanding, who your audience is. Having a business page is going to help you with those analytics, and because you will get that information in analytics when you have a business page. So a lot of people are always wondering, should I keep it personal, or should I switch to a business profile? Or on Instagram, they have a whole bunch of different types of profiles that you can create now. Like, there's a creator profile, which if you don't want to go fully business page, you could do the creator and you're going to get access to some of those analytics. But I recently switched back to being a business page. I switched to creative because they had some more media options that were available. But then I switched back to business just because it linked with the scheduler that I use, which I really wanted to show that to you. Let me see if I actually can pull it up on my desktop. And I just started using it. I used to use it all the time, and then I quit using a planner or a scheduler because I wasn't really doing a lot of stuff for my personal page, my business page, that I was scheduling out. But I'm because I'm being more intentional about it this year, I decided to go with Planoly, mostly because I'm focusing on Instagram, and this is an Instagram affiliate. So I just loaded up some images. So what I like about this is I can scroll through and see which posts, like, really quickly have comments on them, or how many people have engaged with my posts. And then also, like, you can see here, there's a U under on some of these are unscheduled. So these are just placeholders, and you can like rearrange them, move them around. And I just loaded these up because I was playing around and wanted to see how long it took to load this many images. But I definitely wouldn't I'm not going to post all these. But I might do these with some quotes on them, probably pull them into Canva and do some cool stuff there. But one of the things, so if let's say we want to create a new post, we can go into Canva. So if you have a Canva account, you can go into Canva and pull it straight from your Canva. You can also go, if you have Dropbox or your Google Drive. So if I click on Canva, let's see how long this is going to take. This is a little extra, but so the thing I love about Canva, if you've ever taken one of my trainings, is that it has all these pre-made templates. So let's say we're going to do here. I don't know, yoga gift. Anyway, so you can change these things, and then hold on, let me see if I can get it. I'm missing okay. So now it's preparing my design, and then I can upload as a carousel. I could upload as a post. I could add another image if I wanted to. Let's see, upload as a post. So now it's here. So I could do my whole content, like, because on Instagram, it has 3 posts across. So I could plan and see like how everything is flowing and the way that it looks, if you really want to go with that aesthetic kind of feel for your Instagram feed. So, that's one thing that I really have come to like about Canva. I'm sorry, I love Canva. But about Planoly is that it has connected with Canva like that. So I don't have to go open up Canva, then open up Planoly, then download the thing from Canva, then upload it to Planoly. I can just link everything right there. And that's really, really amazing. I don't have anything scheduled, but you guys are gonna get to see my slacker mentality right now. I have not been posting very much, but you can see I get analytics because I have the paid. So you can see a lot of my engagement is coming from OMAC. I've got a little bit in Spokane, Grand Coulee, and Seattle. Because I haven't posted anything in like a week, I don't really have a whole bunch going on, and I just started using this. So you can see, like, I don't have any posts lately, but I'm averaging 113 likes per week, 12 comments, 682 impressions. So now I can take a screenshot of this and say, okay, this is where I'm at right now. Let's say because I'm gonna start doing a bunch of yoga classes in Spokane, that I'm gonna wanna increase the Spokane number to be, a higher percentage. And then I wanna increase my likes to be a higher percentage. And I want more comments on my posts. So I have a view of what it looks like, so that as I'm moving forward, I can have some measurables with my strategy. So I know if I'm doing a good job, or if I need to change some things, or whatever is happening, I can update it. So you can get a monthly view, a yearly view. So, not very much difference. I mean, the numbers go up, but I'm most likely looking at a weekly measurable, because when you're looking at it weekly, then you can make adjustments more actively, as opposed to every month. Then you're like already a month in and you don't know what's been happening because you're not looking at your analytics. And what I would do is put in my calendar, this is your social media day or social media hours, and that's what you're posting, and when you're checking your analytics and you're doing all the social media things. And then you have your daily time where you schedule it like a job, 15-20 minutes every day, where you're checking your social media to engage, to like, to follow, to comment, all the stuff. And then you're off the app. No scrolling. And it's good to spend some time scrolling, because that's where you're going to get ideas and get inspiration as well. If you're going to start jumping into TikTok and Reels, it's important to do a lot of scrolling, because then you can identify trends that are happening, because it's all about the trends on Instagram, Reels, and TikTok. So that is where you do get a little bit of freedom to take some exploration time, but make sure you're timing it. Like, set a timer for yourself so that you're not going into time travel mode and all of a sudden, 3 hours later, you're like, wow, it's bedtime and I just was on TikTok for 3 hours, because that has happened to me. It's entertaining. It's almost better than TV. So be intentional and know your products, know your market, and you'll be able to create an amazing content calendar and strategy for your 2022 social media. Does anyone, any questions? I don't see anything in the Q&A. If there's no questions, then that's all I have for you guys today. That it was a lot of weaving the content together. So I appreciate those of you that stuck through to the end. Roxana, I'm glad your phone didn't die so you could stay. But otherwise, we are done if there's no questions. Give it one more minute to give you some time to type in anything. Thank you guys so much for being here. I don't know, Roxana, which one you're talking about. There was supposed to be one on the third week or the third week in December, but because we did this two-part December 1st and 15th, that third week is going to be canceled. So this was the last session for 2022. And as always, if you need additional assistance or technical assistance, coaching through the process, reach out to Lynn at IDRS Acorn Project, and she can set you up with technical assistance, or there is a link as well. Type that in right. Yep. So I'm just going to post this in the chat for those of you that are still here. To everyone. So this is a form that if you haven't received technical assistance already, this is a form where you can fill out and request assistance. And also check out their website. There's a ton of resources there as well. All right, thank you guys so much. Have an amazing holiday season and best of luck with your social media planning.